Good morning. Welcome to today's New York City Council hearing for the Committee on Women and Gender Equity. Please silence all cell phone electronic devices and please do not approach the dais. Chair, we're ready to begin.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Farah Lewis, the chair of the Committee of Women and Gender Equity. Today, the committee will vote on several pieces of legislation, all of which I am very proud to co-sponsor. They are proposed introductions 1200A, sponsored by Councilmember Caban, a local law to amend the administrative code of the City of New York in relation to publicly available information regarding gender identity, related rights, and resources. Proposed intro 1201A, sponsored by Councilmember Hanif, a local law to amend the administrative code of the City of New York in relation to a cause of action related to interference with reproductive gender-affirming health care. Proposed 1203A by Councilmember Osei, a local law in relation to requiring the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs to conduct an assessment to support migrants who are transgender, gender non-conforming, non-binary, or intersex, and to develop a phased implementation plan to address gaps in supports. Also sponsored by Councilmember Osei, proposed intro 1204A, a local law to amend the administrative code of the City of New York in relation to requiring the Commissioner of Health and Mental Hygiene to conduct an assessment and develop a health agenda regarding health inequities affecting transgender, gender nonconforming, non-binary individuals when compared to cisgender individuals, and health inequities affecting intersex individuals. Additionally, we will be voting for 4 resolutions today. They are resolutions 0771 of 2025, sponsored by Councilmember Bottcher, a resolution calling on the New York State Governor to sign S929/A2141, that was a lot, which having been passed by both the New York State Senate and the New York State Assembly would extend protections over personal health information. Resolution 0774 of 2025, sponsored by Councilmember Hudson, a resolution calling on the New York State Department of Health to implement regulations requiring hospitals in New York City to adhere to the World Professional Association for Transgender Health Standards of Care 8. to ensure medical professionals can provide high quality and ethical treatment for individuals with gender dysphoria. And Resolution 0781 of 2025, sponsored by Councilmember Shulman, a resolution calling upon the New York State Legislature to introduce and pass and the governor to sign legislation to prohibit out-of-state access to New York State prescription monitoring programs data for certain medications, including abortion medication, hormone therapy, and pubic blockers. And finally, Resolution 0793 of 2025, also sponsored by Councilmember Shulman, a resolution calling on the New York State Legislature to pass, the governor to sign, S1633/A2613, which would provide additional protections for the sensitive health information of patients, including information related to abortion or gender-affirming care, and require all health information networks, electronic health record systems, and healthcare providers to provide patients with a right to restrict the disclosures of such patients' health information. I would like to acknowledge my colleagues, Councilmembers Caban, Riley, Vernikov, and Gutierrez. Welcome back. Now I invite the sponsors of the legislation to give remarks. Councilmember Bottcher.
Thank you so much, Chair Lewis. Today I'm proud to be a member of this legislative body, which is stepping up to fortify the rights of transgender and gender nonconforming people here in New York City. The right wing has been successful at politicizing the lives of trans people. And one of the reasons that they've been able to do that successfully is because, you know, unlike gays and lesbians, where most people know us in their lives, like, you know, almost anywhere in the country now, you either have a relative or a coworker or someone in your community who's gay or lesbian. A lot of people don't know trans people just because they're so few in number numerically. But I truly believe that if more people knew transgender people like we do, they would know that they are just people like you and me who just want to live their lives. They just want to live their lives and take care of themselves and their families and be happy and have health care and employment and a roof over their heads. It's the vicious discrimination that they encounter day in and day out makes it incredibly difficult for them to just do that, just live their lives. So that's why this legislation is important to help them just be who they are in the United States of America, which is supposed to be a country where you are allowed to be free and to be who you are. So that's why I'm proud that we're passing this package of legislation today. I want to thank my co-chair, Councilmember Tiffany Caban. I want to thank my legislative and budget director, Hannah Moses, and everyone else who helped make this possible.
Thank you, Councilmember Bottcher. Councilmember Caban.
Thank you very much. I'm going to be brief because I know we'll be talking about this again at pre-stated and stated, but this is important legislation. You know, it very simply, at least my bill requires New York City to communicate with TGNC, NBI, New Yorkers about all of their rights and the resources that are available, highlighting every resource, every fund, every program. This bill is about transparency, it's accessibility and solidarity, but most importantly, it's about survival. The whole package is about survival, because we're not just defending an ideology here, we're defending lives, period. That is what we are doing, defending lives in the face of a Trump administration that's rolling back healthcare protections, that's targeting trans youth, that's attempting to erase trans people from public life. Those are reminders that our work is just beginning, and New York City must continue to be a national leader, not just in resisting harm, but in actively advancing the rights and safety of the trans community. We have to validate trans and gender nonconforming existence at every level of local government, because we've got the federal government returning ripped up passports and documents. It is left up to us. And you know, I will say that it's true, in other parts of the country and the world, you may not know a trans and intersex and non-binary individual, and you know, as part of as being part of the queer community, and specifically being part of a queer community that is hell-bent on protecting the civil rights and dignity of all people, I have trans and gender nonconforming people to thank for that, who have shown me that way and have shown me how to fight for everyone, not just themselves. So I'm really proud and grateful to be able to stand up and fight for them in this really concrete, material way today. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Schulman. And Councilmember Schulman's remote today.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You can start.
Thank you, Chair Lewis, and thank you to all my colleagues for your leadership and support on this important legislative package. As chair of the Health Committee and a proud member of the LGBTQ+ caucus, I'm deeply honored to sponsor Resolutions 781 and 793. These bills are a direct response to the growing threats across the country targeting reproductive freedom and gender-affirming care, threats that too often use healthcare data as a weapon. Reso 781 calls on the state to prohibit out-of-state access to the New York State Prescription Monitoring Program's data for medications like abortion pills, hormone therapy, and puberty blockers. No one should have to fear that seeking basic health care in New York could expose them to legal risks elsewhere. Reso 793 goes even further, calling on the legislature and governor to strengthen protections around sensitive health information and give patients the right to restrict how that information is shared. At a time when trans rights and reproductive rights are under coordinated attack, New York must lead by example. We must ensure that our healthcare system is a sanctuary, not a surveillance tool. This is about bodily autonomy. It's about privacy, and it's about justice. I'm proud to stand with all of you today as we take a bold step toward protecting the most vulnerable among us and ensuring that everyone in New York can access the care they need with dignity and safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Finally, I would like to thank my own staff and the members of the Women and Gender Equity Committee staff, Senior Committee Counsel Julia Goldsmith-Pinkham, and Senior Legislative Policy Analyst Christy Dreyer, who worked to prepare for this hearing. Clerk, we are ready to vote.
Good morning. William Martin, Committee Clerk. Roll call vote, Committee on Women and Gender Equity. All items are coupled. Chair Lewis.
I vote aye on all. Congratulations to all bill sponsors.
Riley.
Aye.
Caban.
Proudly vote aye.
Gutierrez.
Aye.
Vernikov.
No and all.
Councilmember Vernikov, can you say your vote again?
No and all.
Oh, thank you. Excuse me. With a vote of 4 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, and no abstentions, all items have been adopted by the committee.
Thank you, everyone.